Hi, I'm Dr. Paul with Online Chiropractic Marketing Systems, and we're talking with Dr. Chris McNeil. And Dr. McNeil has started implementing the personal injury attorney marketing program, the personal injury marketing program, but especially the personal injury attorney marketing program. How you doing today, Dr. Chris?
Great, thanks.
And we were just going to discuss a little bit about, you were telling me some of the successes you were having with the personal injury attorney marketing. And what do you mean by that?
Um, I'd say I've been marketing to the attorneys to set up meetings to come in and show them how we document
Well, specifically,
extensively.
let's go to the end result. Specifically, you said
Okay,
that you were getting a lot busier with referrals.
end result is by using your program, I've been able to get in with these lawyers, explain to them how we're thorough, we're different, and I've been getting more referrals from the lawyers, and it's I've only had a handful of meetings, and I'm getting a lot. We're getting a lot more business. Um, that's pretty much plain and simple.
Now, when you say a lot, if you don't, I mean, when you say a lot of business, a lot more business, what does that mean?
Probably an extra 10 referrals a month.
Okay, all right. So that's 10 PI cases, right?
10 PI cases, extra 10 PI cases a month, just from a couple attorneys.
Okay.
Um,
Now let's walk through what's making that happen. Now, when you prior to doing the program, you were kind of doing some other stuff with PI attorney marketing. And I kind of chastised you a little bit about that, and about joking with the giving tickets to the attorneys and baskets of fruit and things like that. And I remember I rode you pretty hard on that. And I said stop doing that. And
right.
so immediately we kind of learned the personal injury attorney marketing program, and you started doing that. And I remember the first time you went out, if I recall, the first time you gave that presentation, you got a referral on the spot, didn't you?
Yes, definitely. He actually called. He called the client up right at the meeting and gave the referral right there.
Okay, and that was actually pretty good for the first time you'd actually presented the
Yeah,
material.
yeah. It's better now.
And give me what happened from that point on. Kind of give me a stair step of what's happened.
I'm getting better at the presentation, and you've been tweaking it, here and there too. I've been tweaking it to fit my personality and my communication style a little bit too. And we really started using the computerized radiographic menstruation analysis on the patient. So then we had sample reports to show the lawyers about, on the AOMSI and the ligament damage and the importance of documenting that. And
What were some of the common things? So you're giving the presentation step by step. What were some other common comments, do you recall, that you're hearing when you explain to them, everything that could possibly be done that's not being done?
well, a lot of them didn't know too much about Colossus, and the documentation needed, if you're an auto accident provider.
And these are
Um,
personal injury attorneys, right?
yep, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them didn't even know anything about that, or maybe they knew a little bit about it. And a lot of, just the fact that if you're working with doctors who do not properly and thoroughly document, that it's going to limit their personal injury cases. It's
Did,
going to limit their, how much money they're making.
hey, Chris, did they understand that when you explained that to them?
Yeah, yeah. Basically, if I hit all the points that I need to and show them how we do things to the next level, thorough consultation, examination, documentation, prognosis, diagnosis, and show them that if they don't work with doctors who aren't doing this, they're going to lose out. In contrast, if you work with us, because we do go to the next level, we do everything proper, that you're going to maximize your claim settlements by working with doctors like us.
Were you able to show them how much money they're losing by working with doctors that do not have that knowledge or ability?
I do. I have and I do. Sometimes I don't really have to do that on every attorney. Sometimes you just get it from the get go. And I had an attorney meeting a couple of days ago. They got it. I didn't have to break down the numbers. They called me the next day with the referral. So, if they get it, I don't really have to go through the numbers a lot of times, but it is helpful.
Right. Okay. Is there anything that you're hearing them say that's kind of resonating as you're going through the steps of exactly how to put a personal injury case together? Is there anything that you recall that they're saying?
I mean, it's, a lot of it they do know and understand, but as you break it down, they're almost like deer in the headlights. They're like sucking it up like a sponge because no one's ever really presented it to them in this manner before.
In that type of orderly sequence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're referring to the financial drivers and the injuries, right?
Absolutely.
And how about the 3 phases of healing? How well do they know that?
They don't know a thing about it, and that's a big one too. That really captures their attention. And when I'm talking to them and I explain to them that this is how we do things, this is physiological facts and research published facts, and that's how we can actually explain it to a jury or in a deposition, and the light bulbs start going on too.
Right. Okay. And your case average. So you said you started getting about an additional 10 more right away. What's your case average? Just that average.
Oh, 3 to 5,000.
So if we took the low end of 3 at times 10 a month, that's an extra 30,000 a month or $360,000 a year.
That's big.
And you've only been doing these presentations for 4 months, right?
Yeah, 4 to 6 months. And it's like I just the handful that I've been meeting with, follow-ups and processing the business that they've been giving us is I had to stop marketing. I just got back to marketing again, and the first meeting I had, they started sending those people the next day.
Right. So you had to regroup.
Yeah, I had to regroup, and we're back on track now, and following up obviously is key.
Right, and what would you say? A lot of doctors I talk to, I hear 2 common issues. One is they don't say it as much, but they're kind of afraid to talk to the attorneys. Do you know what I mean? They're a little intimidated by the attorney. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, fortunately, I don't have that problem, but they're just like you and I. They're just regular guys anyway. So.
And when you start going through this material, who is really in the driver's seat? You or them?
I definitely am, because they don't have a clue about any of this stuff typically.
Right. Yeah. What would you have to say? Another common comment that I get is doctors say, "Well, I don't have time," and I've even heard doctors say, "Well, I'm married." Well, you're married. You're married. You have kids. Matter of fact, you have 3 offices and more than 1 or 2 employees, and you're finding time to talk to attorneys. So what would you have to say to the doctors that say, "Well, I don't have time. I'm married. I'm busy"?
It's, I just make a couple slots every week at lunchtime to schedule meetings, and I just run out and do a meeting and get back to whatever else I'm doing.
Okay. All right.
So,
Yeah.
I have a certain time slot every week that I have available for meetings with lawyers and medical doctors, and my staff we do the marketing program, publicity, advertising, and then the staff sets up the appointments, and I go do my thing, and then we got to follow up, of course.
And what would you say to any doctors who are watching this that are considering maybe using my personal injury marketing program?
I'd say go for it. It's you gotta learn it and put in some time, but it's paying off big time.
Right. And how difficult was it really?
It's not difficult. It's information that I didn't even know, really.
And you were pretty active.
I knew it. I knew it somewhat, but like the AOMSI and the CRMA stuff, I had no clue about. I didn't realize the importance of documenting the ligament damage, and that's definitely a good angle. And then all of your systems about psychographic, geographic barriers, things like that. That's something I didn't know about, but it's not that hard. It's just something you got to learn, and you present it repetitively, and it gets into the brain pretty good.
How about the difference in the knowledge of what you now know, and how to use sales versus advertising with personal injury attorneys?
Yes, that's capturing the emotions and the fear of loss.
Could you have done that if you would not have been taught educational sales like we taught you?
No, because bringing over some pizzas, I mean, there's a fine line. You do need to keep a good relationship with the office and the staff, and bringing them lunch every now and again isn't a bad thing, but that's not it's not tapping into why they want to work with you, because they're missing out on money, because they're not using doctors who are that thorough, and they see that they're missing out on that cash, and it's causing them pain. Not to mention we emphasize the patients first. We want to do everything for the patient.
Well, you're moving pretty fast here. You've only been doing this about 4 months. You're getting an extra 10 PI cases a month. What are your future plans now? It looks like things are moving pretty fast.
I want to probably get an extra 20 a month. Maybe open another clinic.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dr. Chris, I certainly appreciate your time.
Thanks, Doc.
Okay, you take care.